Hello, beautiful kindred souls, and welcome to my spiritual oasis. Here, weary souls come to find inner wisdom and peace. We're going to be doing a one-card reading today. Just channeling messages from Spirit, whatever Spirit has to share with you. You know, I think sometimes in this life and world and time that we live in, you know, we're constantly bombarded with more. And, you know, sometimes the messenger can be simple, like one card. But the impact of the message can be infinitely, abound with knowledge and information and healing and just messages that you really need to hear. So today, we are taking our message from the Spirit Animal Oracle, a deck that was created by Colette Baron Reed. And we will shuffle out our one card, and then I will read the description from the book and then share any additional messages that Spirit has to, add to our conversation today. Before we get into the reading, and while I'm shuffling, I would like to invite you to join the Kindred family by subscribing to my YouTube channel. Click like if something resonates with you, and drop a comment and let me know what part of the message you were able to connect to today. So let's go ahead and flip over our card. So we have Wasp Spirit. There are going to be some really wonderful messages here. So let's get our message. Wasp Spirit. Sometimes life stings. Not all that Spirit creates in nature is easy to love. But when we look through the eyes of Wasp Spirit, we recognize that even though sometimes life stings, there is a purpose for pain, just as there is a purpose for wasps in the natural world. Wasps keep insect populations down, supporting the growth of plants. So too, the sting of life may hurt, and you may feel deeply disappointed or even resentful that Wasp Spirit has shown up. But you will soon come to see that Spirit has something wonderful in store for you. You may well come to realize that being stung led to something far better than you had envisioned for yourself. Perhaps behind the scenes, Wasp Spirit was conspiring with Spirit to ensure that you could grow something of value to you. Spirit has a plan, and Wasp Spirit plays a part. Have you ever looked back and been glad your prayers weren't answered because the path you took led to something far better? Wasp Spirit is a reminder to reflect on those times, for today's sting may hurt, but something better awaits you. Are you holding on to anger, jealousy, or resentment because you got stung? Or could you have just stung yourself by comparing yourself to others? There will always be someone else who is more successful, happier, thinner, richer, etc. Jealousy is the false belief that you can't have what you want, or someone could take away something that was supposed to be yours. Let it go and release all those feelings that are making the sting hurt long after the stinger has been removed. Wasp Spirit has woken you up, and now you are called to trust that disappointment can lead you to a different and better path. Align with Spirit now and trust that this too shall pass, and is already doing so, for the pain subsides when you stop telling the story of how much it hurt. Lots of really wonderful messages in there from Wasp Spirit. And when I first turned this card over, I smiled because pain, and it was mentioned in this message here that pain serves a purpose, and it does. It's meant to, we experience pain to help us remember, so we don't repeat something that wasn't good for us. The stomach ache that you get from eating too many sweets, or when you hit your head on something or you stump your toe on something, it reminds you to step over that thing or to avoid that thing that you stumped your toe on, or that you hurt yourself on. And I'm conjuring up the image of a toddler or young child, as they're navigating their journey of life and trying to figure out where they fit in their life. They're learning how to walk, they're learning how to talk, they're learning how to not only navigate, but learn what things are. They come into this world having no idea what anything is. And some of the lessons they're able to learn from a loving parent or guardian that guides them and instructs them and says, oh, no, don't do that, don't touch that, don't go there. And some of the lessons they have to learn are from experience. And I feel like all of us have been through the experience route on certain things in our life. And it hurts sometimes. It does. And sometimes with those painful things and those things that hurt, we wish they didn't happen. We wish we could turn back time. We wish we could change what was. We could change reality, or we wonder what if, or what would have happened if I would have done this right or not gone this direction. And something that I've learned in my life and on my journey thus far is that the universe, spirit, God, whatever term sits well with you, doesn't make mistakes. The universe understands that we are all unique individuals. And being so, that means that we all learn differently. Some of us learn from other people's mistakes, and we can take in information and we listen and follow directions and instructions, or listen to someone else's journey and struggles and hardships. And some of us have to learn by doing, action. And so I think one of the stronger messages here today that I'm receiving is embrace who you are and how you learn. And just understand that every encounter that we have serves a purpose. We don't always see it, especially when we're in it and it hurts and it's painful and we're struggling and scrapping and scraping, just trying to survive. But when you are out of that phase, when you're out of that survival space, I feel like there's a message here for you to reflect, for you to look back on those wasp sting moments and pick out the lesson that you are meant to learn from it. I feel like Wasp Spirit is also saying that for every season, sometimes we are in seasons of reaping harvest. Sometimes we're in a season of working and planting. And sometimes we're in a season of winter. And I feel like there's also a message here that I'm receiving about preparation along those lines. That when things are great, physically, money-wise, emotionally, etc. Lean into those moments. Enjoy those moments. And put away some stores for a rainy day. I also feel like, as we take a quick peek at the numerology of this card, 64 reduces down to the number 1. We could go to the number 10 and then to the number 1. But I think the idea, our number 1 is really connected to trailblazing and initiating. I feel like a lot of the lessons that we learn happen when we are in a space of challenge. And I feel like the wasp is there to challenge. And this is kind of random, but when I'm analyzing, a Kindred Soul's birth chart for a reading, question that was asked, etc., I pay particular attention to Saturn. For those of you who might not be familiar with Saturn in astrology, Saturn is the planet basically of challenge, of difficulty, of lessons. Sometimes those lessons hurt and they're hard, and they can almost be considered cruel sometimes. But it's often in those spaces and places where Saturn reigns that our most wonderful gifts, talents, and abilities thrive. Because if you think about it, when something is challenging, you can either run from it or you can take it head on. And when you take it head on, and often even when you run from it, it comes back to you, by the way, until you take it head on, until you address it. But once you address it, and you really take a good look at that thing, and you make the changes or the tweaks, or you work on that part of yourself, like if you have difficulty maybe controlling your anger, or difficulty controlling your spending, or difficulty expressing yourself and voicing your opinion or setting boundaries, all of these different things that we go through in our life, you take it on and say, I am going to succeed at this. I'm going to set these boundaries. And you go through the work and the discomfort and the frustration and the failures and the successes. And you work that muscle until you no longer have to think about it. And I feel like when we get to that place, sometimes we forget to think back on how much work and effort we put into the things that we work on with ourselves. So don't forget to do that. And celebrate your successes, celebrate your failures, because it's an opportunity to learn. And the last message that I really feel like is calling and singing with Wasp Spirit for you today, beautiful soul, is a message around releasing. That when things hurt us, we often dwell in that place of hurt. We talk about the hurt, the person, the thing that hurt us, rather than looking at what we can learn from that experience. We're too busy focused on the sting and not focused on what we can get out of it and how we can grow and move on. In order to grow and move on, you have to release that negativity, that low vibrational energy. Because if it lives there, then there's no room for something else to live there. So these are the messages that I have channeled today for you through the Wasp Spirit from Spirit. I hope this message was helpful for you. If something resonated, please do drop a comment down below. Let me know what did. Click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if we're not already connected here on YouTube. And if you're interested in your own personal reading, whether it's a 1-card reading, I do offer 1-card readings, or another type of reading, you can connect with me on Etsy. Link is in the description. Thank you so much for your time and your beautiful energy, and I will see you in an upcoming video. Bye.